If you think of anything that we do during the day, you will find that it requires memory. Every day, we are required to remember appointments, dates, names and faces of people. We also need to remember where we put our things, such as keys or glasses, or where we parked our car in a parking lot. And this type of memory is referred to as everyday memory. Now, when people survive brain injuries such as strokes or head injuries, they are usually left with several cognitive impairments. However, impairment in everyday memory is one of the most common, as well as most frustrating and disabling impairment. And for clinicians to be able to help patients cope with those impairments, they need to use valid and reliable memory assessments to help them understand those impairments and their impact on daily function. However, most of those assessment tools are in English and developed for Western populations. And previous studies has proved that when people are tested with the use of assessment tools that are not in their native language or that are developed for populations different from theirs, the results can provide us with wrong and misleading information. And that's because people remember things that they have been exposed to, things they know and things that they remember. For example, if I ask you what's the name of this object or what is it used for, I assume that many here will not be able to answer correctly. However, this doesn't mean that you have memory impairment. It just simply means that you are not familiar with this object. And therefore, when tools are to be used with populations different from the ones they were developed for, they should go through a process of translation and cultural adaptation to ensure that the translation is actually equivalent to the source and that its results reflect actual impairments rather than lack of knowledge or experience. In my study, I translated and culturally adapted a widely used memory assessment tool from English to Arabic. And this process was conducted by myself and a group of professional translators and experts in cognitive testing. Throughout this process, we aimed at achieving not only verbal equivalence, but content equivalence, with maintaining the level of difficulty and familiarity of test items similar in both versions. Finally, we wanted to know if this Arabic version can actually differentiate between people with and without memory problems. So we administered the tool to a large sample of Arabic-speaking participants with and without memory brain injuries. The findings showed that both Arabic and English versions are equivalent, and that this Arabic version is actually able to identify people who have memory problems. Finally, having this Arabic version validated and published will be beneficial for clinicians working with Arabic populations with brain injuries, as well as researchers studying and comparing memory functions across several populations. Thank you so much for your listening.